Welcome to Brightland. In today's video, we are doing a past paper question based on polyfactorisation. This one is always a trick. This one is always challenging, and we find ourselves questioning, where do we start? So hopefully at the end of this video, you'll be able to look back and be like, okay, I know where to start. I know how to approach it. And then we find a way forward. So without no further ado, we're going to start with our past paper question. Very high order question. It's a 3-mark question, typically, sometimes 4, depending on the marker, whether they're feeling generous or not. So this question says 16ax squared minus ay squared plus 48bx squared minus 3by squared, right? And we are trying to group them. We are trying to factorize them. We are trying to keep them in brackets. That's basically what we are trying to do when we factorize. You see, once you factorize and you don't even see a bracket at side and you say you have factorized, question your decisions. Question, oh, did I really factorize? Did I really factorize? But anyways, back to the question. So the first thing we need to look at are key things that they share in common. What are the like terms? Is the x a like term? Is the y a like term? Is the a like term? In today's case, from the first 2 terms that I'm seeing, is that they share an a in common, right? They share an a in common. And therefore, I'm going to pull away an a, right? And then leave inside of the bracket 16x squared minus y squared, right? Just a side note so that you can understand why and what's going on. Remember that if I were to say a times 16x squared, it would give us ax squared minus ay squared. So do you notice that it gives us the same thing? All we are just doing is grouping and putting them in brackets. That is the main goal of factorization. We're just grouping things. We're making them easier to read. We're making them less complicated. And hence I was able to pull out the a. Fine. I'm going back to my last 2 terms. I'm like, okay, cool. I've sorted the first issue out. Let's see here. What do we have here in common? What can we substitute? What can we do? Before we jump into the variables, let's ask ourselves a question. Can 48 be divided by 3? Do they have anything in common? And the answer to a question is yes. Try using a calculator to figure out if that's possible. If it's not possible, that means that they're not common. We're not going to try to manipulate the numbers at all. But in this case, we can factor out the 3 because we can divide 48 by 3 without leaving any remainders whatsoever, right? So we are going to say 3, and then we look at other terms that might be, or other factors or variables that might be common for us, which in this case is what? Is b. We open our bracket. X and y are not the same. So what we're going to do is say 16x squared. How did I get the 16? I said 48 divided by 3. And it will give you a 16 minus y squared, close the bracket. Remember once again, ladies and gentlemen, that we are just trying to group these things. We're just trying to make them easy to read. That's all. So if you were to say 16x squared multiplied by 3b, it is going to give you 48bx squared, as demonstrated before. We're just trying to group them, put them together. It's almost Valentine's, guys. It's almost Valentine's. Let them be in groups. Fine. Now that we have established the reason of why we're doing what we're doing, do we notice something with our eyes? We notice that this bracket and this bracket are exactly the same. Therefore, we can afford to write it once because they are the same. And then what do? We group the things that are outside of the 2 brackets, a plus 3. This would be our final answer. Let me just write it neatly for us to see what's going on. Notice, like I said, I will rewrite that. Notice, like I said, this thing right here and this thing right here, they are the same. So there's no need for us to write it twice. That's the purpose of factorizing. Just group things. If you are the same to me, let's be together and be merry and be jolly, right? Fine. So we are going to say the answer to this is a plus 3b. We are grouping these things, guys. We are grouping them because they both have the same brackets. and we rewrite that identical bracket once. Ne? If we were to think outside the box, yes, we can say a multiplied by this, which is something like this, right? This is what this explains. And we can also do this. So basically, when you're grouping them, you're just making it easier to read. You're just summarizing the entire thing. This is better to read than this. This makes more sense to the eye than what we wrote here. So this would be our final answer. Remember, this is typically a 4-mark or 3-mark question. So hopefully this video will help you ensure that you get the full marks that you need. Goodbye. See you in our next video.